Who am I to be a tattoo artist? Is what most of us think. We all wonder that. Even when you're a couple of years in, you're still gonna be wondering that. When I first started, the idea that comes in your head that you're never gonna walk a normal people's path is a weird one. You watching this video, you know what it feels like. Because I remember like my mom was saying, you're not gonna work like a normal job. And I was like, a normal job? That's weird. Because for me, drawing is the normal job. But I can see how years ago, centuries ago, working those kind of jobs was the main thing, was the big deal, was how you got paid and how you were valued. And if you were doing someone's shoes, you were valued less. If you were building someone's house, you valued more. Whereas I would say these days, it's kind of swapped because the people build houses, that's just average. But if you can make shoes for somebody, that's posh. But long story short, it's gonna feel so weird for you to say to a family that you're not gonna go the standard people's path. Guaranteed. Because they all expect you to do so. They really want you to have money. But they think you pursuing art will not gonna get you money. So they don't really feel bad. They don't mean it bad. They're just worried that you're gonna fail and you'll have no cash, which is understandable. And then there will be you thinking about it, like you have to draw on people and charge money. Like imagine when you draw, you love it, but now you have to say you pay me £400 for this drawing. That's guilt. You're gonna feel so guilty. All of us do. And then you're gonna be wondering, am I really an artist? Can my art be on a level to physically charge that much money? Am I good enough? That was the previous video. Am I good enough? And you'll be wondering that every single day. Every day. So all of us do that. We all wonder that every single day. Even now when I teach people how to tattoo and how to do all that, people think, are you good enough to actually say what you do? Like, are you good enough to actually teach? That's the critique I get now. And that's what I'm thinking now as well. But I'm kind of convinced because I can do 13 years and I can do about 7 different styles fluently. So I'm pretty convinced. But what's going to happen is you will do art and you will have to charge money for it. Also, you will be judged on every single piece you do or you don't do or how you do or why you do. Every company has these problems where even if the newest iPhone comes out, people slag it down, the new design, the new not design, the BMW designs. Like the moment you make something, people always have something to say. So they're going to say if you're going to do something in life or if you're not going to do something in life. Pick which conversation topic you want to be about. About you slacking or you doing. They're going to talk about you anyway. And when you first start, the idea that you draw on people and actually stays there freaks you out. But then that's kind of the point, that you do actually and actually stays there. And it doesn't go away. That is the whole point. If anything, that's how you get judged in industry, is how good you can do, that it never goes, it never disappears, it always stays in, and black is black, color is color, yellow is yellow, and it stays in there. Like, at the beginning, it's weird that it actually stays, but then later on, that is the job. Like, that is how the measurement of how good you are gets measured of how good it actually stays inside. And the weird thing is, we always measure the distance of our goals. So let me demonstrate you. Let's say this is my goal. I always have this in front of me and I always measure the distance, how far is my hand from the bottle. Make sense? So I always think I'll be happy when, and then he always moves forward. So there's always a distance between me and the goals. And you always feel that way. You always feel like the goals are there and you just never get there because the moment you move forward, he also moves forward. You're wondering, why the fuck I never feel happy? Like, I thought I'll be happy when, and I'll be happy when, and I'll be happy when, and it always moves forward. You're wondering why I never feel happy. Because we measure how far we are from the future, but we never measure how far we are from the past. Because imagine if this was the beginning, this is where we started, you will be more further away, and further away, and further away, and further away, and further away. And you actually come a long, long way. But the problem is, we always measure what's in this hand, how far we are from the next item, the next skill, the next. And that's why a lot of people feel guilty, is because they measure to the imaginary world in their own heads, because they believe they'll be happy when, and then there's just another bullet point, another thing they believe they will be happy when they reach. But look at the distance there. Like, that's quite far. And it's just human nature. That's how we are built. Otherwise, we wouldn't have bridges, we wouldn't have highways, we wouldn't have fast cars, we wouldn't have high houses. We would just live in a bungalow somewhere in the caves, eating like fishes that we just caught 15 minutes ago. That doesn't sound cool. And at some point, you actually get better. At some point, you really learn that you have evidence. Because once you do skins like this, for example, loads of skins, you got visual evidence. So what used to be a vision, used to be a plan, used to be just a thought, you have evidence. So even your parents or whoever, you have a doubt that they could put you down. They have no evidence. And evidence is the only thing that convinces people. Even when you watch now this video, you're thinking, who are you to talk about? Who are you to judge? Who are you to whatever? So you need evidence. And then when you have evidence, let's say this pile of skins, loads of skins, that's evidence. I can see what I've done. You can see what I've done. Parents can see what you have done. And Instagram sees what you have done. So you have a measurement, you have a benchmark, you can understand where you are, what level you are. You can compare your first skin to your last skin. And if you do 3 months every single day, a skin, that's 90 skins in between. And guess what? The distance between here and there, like the future and the past, it's visual. You can physically see how far you have come. So you have evidence. And then the syndrome of, am I good enough, or do I actually belong in here, gets smaller. So you have evidence that you are good enough. You have evidence that you're actually good. But the problem is, you will be still holding the bottle there and always moving forwards to the bottle, so that the bottle moves away from you. So which means you'll never be happy, like 1000%, never gonna be happy. But there are a few ways you can counter that. So one is, like I just mentioned, you have evidence. So you have a documented designs. You have legit items, tangible, the ones you can touch. You get the skins, you get designs, you get drawings, you can post, you can make videos on Instagram. You have things that confirm, or things that document your past. And you know, when you buy shoes in a shop, you don't really think about your grandma. When you buy milk in a shop, you don't think about your teacher. When you buy belts, socks, underwear, you don't think about your teachers. You don't think about your neighbor's dog. Like, you don't think about it. What if you do the designs, drawings the same way? You just do because you love it. You do because you like it. You do because the way you wanna, not because somebody else somewhere far away. Like, you, why? Like, you shouldn't even think about them. They should not even be in your reach. They shouldn't even be your mind. Same as you buy the underwear for yourself and you're thinking, oh, I'll like the red ones. Like, you never thought about someone somewhere thinking about your red underwear. That never comes into your thought. So same you can do here, where you can just do what you want to do. And that pile of skins there is what I want to do. And I just did it. And people liked it. And then that pile, Miss Green is in the studio this very moment. She's on the wall. And I would say she has made about 70,000 followers for the Instagram. And it was just because I picked it. I wanted. I didn't even ask public, what the fuck do you want? Like, what do you want? I didn't. I just did it. And I did it nice and clean. Precise. With sharp edges, quality. And people liked it. That's how you overcome the imposter syndrome. Thinking that you're not good enough. You need evidence. But evidence is what happens after you do it, not before. Like, after you have items. Imagine if all these items are skins, yeah? And imagine they clean. Like, I've not done any work. I wouldn't have no evidence. Skins are there, cool. And then what? You know what I mean? You need evidence. You need hundreds of hours of work. And I mean hundreds, not 10 hours, not 15, not 20. You need at least 100 hours, yeah? 100 days. Imagine if you spend 90 days and if you do just 1 hour a day, that's 90 hours. Sounds quite a lot, but it's actually not that bad. Because if you work in the studio, you're going to be working about 6 to 8 hours every single day, times 1 year, that's shitloads of hours. So you can do exactly the same. And then loads of videos gonna say, oh, you need to build a trust. You need evidence. You need evidence that you know what you're talking about. You need evidence that you can actually do what you want to do. So like if people want to sign up with you, they need evidence you can actually do the work. Evidence is after the work is done. So, which means if you want to book in people for like sleeves, you need evidence that you can actually draw them. You need evidence that you actually can plan them. You need evidence that you actually think about the backgrounds. You need evidence that you can do good backgrounds. What even is a background? Even this day, if I would ask people, what do they want in life? Let's say if I speak to tattoo artists, and I would say, what do you want? They would say, I want to do back piece, I want to do sleeves, I want to do arms, I want to do legs, and the list would be quite big. But then I can guarantee that there will be no evidence on that Instagram what even suggests that that's what the person wants. There will be no drawings, there will be no sketches, there's no videos about it, there will be no sketching videos and talking and video together. Just none. Weirdly enough, they sit inside the rooms in studios or at home and they're wondering why no one's coming to me because I want to do this big massive back piece that I've not even started sketching. Sounds kind of stupid, innit? Like I want to do all these sleeves that I'm not even going to draw. I want to do all these leg tattoos that I'm never even going to post or even start planning sketching. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds fucking weird. But all these people just think that. They have no evidence. And that's why they feel, oh, I'm not good enough. Because the public has no evidence. Like why shops have these little pictures of food outside the shops? Because you need evidence what's inside the shop. Why cakes, ice creams have a picture of how the cake looks like before you open? So you have the evidence of what's inside. Or at least fruits, so you can see that there will be fruits inside. You need evidence before you buy. If I just wrap something in a black box that you can't see inside, the chances are you're never going to buy that because you have no evidence what's inside. You can buy that on a surprise effect, but that's a different story. So how do we get there? First, you join a place where everybody does art. Not just moans about industry. Even they use the word industry like they would be for tattooing for 10 years if they just pulled 2 lines. And you join a place where everybody does art. Not just moans, not cries, but actually does the work. And then you actually do the work. Like you don't sit at home and put a remote. Every time you have a remote in your hands, you just stole your life. You stole hours from your dream. It wasn't even a dream. Maybe it's going to stay as a dream if you hold a remote in your hands. Maybe it will become just a dream, like Nelly said. And if anything, you win. If others watching Netflix and you are not, and you actually tattoo the people that's on Netflix, like that's cool. Imagine if you physically draw. I don't even know what. I don't have TV at home. So imagine if people, I don't know what's on TV, Star Wars, I don't know what people watch. But imagine if people watch those things and you draw them. Like you win. You tattoo on fake skin the Star Wars characters, all of them, every single one of them. And you film the videos about it. You have evidence. You will have what people say trust. But it's not. It's actually evidence that somebody booking with you is actually going to get what they want. It's a guarantee that what they anticipated from you, they're actually going to get. That's evidence. They need evidence. Not just talking, not just planning, not just scanning. Like you actually did it. And you cannot argue if it's done already. You will only feel imposter if you're actually going to lie to people. If you're going to lie, yes, I'm good, and you have no evidence, you're going to be lying to them and lying to yourself. That's when the feeling comes in. But if you know you've done so many hours on so many skins, they're big skins, and you maybe empty the whole lining inks bottle. You've been through all that. You bought loads of boxes of cartridges and you blast them all through. You will be convinced that you are some good level because you have the evidence that you've done it. And because you've done it, you completed the session, completed all that, you will not going to feel like imposter. You might not be thinking that I'm a master, but your level, you will know what you can do. And that feeling disappears. You will only feel imposter if you're actually going to go to places that you've not been, not done, and will pretend that you can do them. You'll pretend that, yes, I'm good enough. Yes, I can pull it off. Yeah, whatever. And then that feeling inside is going to kill you. So in our studio, what we do is, For example, we go from 80-20. So 80% you can do what you know. So you don't feel any moments. You don't feel it, any imposter moments. But that 20% is what you're allowed to play around. What you are allowed to do the stuff you're not good at. So 20%. It could be like a big piece, but then maybe you're not really good with packing black. There's some areas, 20%, small areas somewhere here and there, there's some black. So you know you can kill this piece. But then you can potentially fail a little bit on the black, but you need to know that knowledge. So you need to fail a little bit. But then you don't feel as an imposter. So you go in this you go into this tattoo really confident. You go and you're like, I can smash this thing. But there's this big small chance. But that small chance is not gonna affect you. It could be where you do a piece, you do a writing, but it happens to be in red color. You know how to pull lines. You know how to continue lines. You know how to start and stop and start lines. You know how to color in between. You know all of it, except it's just in red ink. So that 20% becomes the red ink. You're like, okay, cool. I need to like, and then you know you can do it. It's just in different color. So you grow, you learn, but it's controlled imposter syndrome. It's in controlled failure, in controlled way of winning and learning and maybe a little bit failing, a little bit, tiny bit, fraction. Because what you don't want to do is go in a massive piece, not knowing anything what you're supposed to do, how to do, why to do, and all those do's, and then you're gonna struggle. You're gonna proper struggle, and that is horrible. You don't want to be there. Like 1000%, you don't want to be there. And from my experience, when I first ever started, I jumped into realism because I knew how to draw realism. So I didn't have imposter syndrome because I knew where light, shadows, contrast, and all that goes. I just needed to learn how to use the tools. Once I knew that, I'm like, cool, I can shade now. But what's missing is a line work. I need more line work understanding. So my plan was, if I design some designs that consist of a little bit of fine lines inside, then it'll give me the skill. So then I started designing some small fine line flowers. And that was a season when fine line flowers was not as big as they are now. And then what happened was I did few, and from those few, a lot more people booked in. And then I did those few. And then I had photos, then I had evidence that I can do. So evidence really works. Then you have the evidence that you can do, which then made more people book in, which then gave me more line work skills. Then I learned how to do basically fine line flower stuff. Once I was able to control 5 liners, I thought to myself, what if I pull out 14 liner? So what's a style when you mix 14 liner, a 5 liner and 3 liner? It's called Neotrad. So I was like, cool, you know what? I'm going to go into Neotrad. Then I did that for a while. And where I live, Neotrad is not really the coolest style, or maybe I wasn't impatient enough, but nobody really wanted. Then I thought to myself, I'm really good in realism, but I really like that line work kind of knowledge and the feeling. I was like, what if I try maybe in ornamental? And I designed loads of ornamental pieces. Then I merged them together, or like 3. I did ornamental heavy lines. But then I did Neotrad ability to flex with line work. But then I shaded in realism. And this kind of weird style was born where I just did a lot of it. So I went from realism to black work to Neotrad to ornamental. And I was like, And obviously in between of them, you get people asking all sorts of other stuff. So you kind of pick those up as well. But then those 7 styles are really grasped. And I could do them day in, day out flawlessly like they would be my own styles. So I did slowly introduce myself into different styles to not feel imposter, to not jump into straight in a world that I don't know anything about it, but I dip my toes. When I grasp the knowledge, I dip my toes. When I grasp the knowledge, I dip my toes, and I did again and again and again and again and again. And now when I'm teaching people how to tattoo, when I was having the thought of, basically it all started because this one of like, well, about 40 people was asking, do I have online course? And I was like, no. But then one day I thought, you know what, maybe I need to make one because there's people asking. And obviously when you go into new area that you're not being, you feel like imposter. You feel like I shouldn't really be here. Can I actually teach? Do I actually have the knowledge to actually say? But then I just teach what I know. I can teach 7 different styles. My day rate is £600 per day, which in a year makes about 150k before taxes. So I'm not teaching anything above me. I'm just teaching that I can get you to my level. That's it. And by the time I'm like 2 years in this teaching game, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna learn how to become quite good in teaching, which is gonna be my new style or new skill grasped, which means I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna teach to be a teacher, maybe. Perhaps I might be consulting studios so they can get every single person in a studio to that level. Imagine if you have a place where you have every single person in a studio making 600 minimum per day. It's a pretty good place. And that's something that I can teach. I can get people to that level, which doesn't make me feel like imposter. I only do the stuff I know what to do, how to do, why to do, and I only do that. Obviously, I do get hate comments here and there. That's just normal because there's loads of people way above me, way cooler, way more known, way heavier hitters. But my job is not to surpass them. My job is to get people to my level. That's it. That's all I do. So that's how you get through imposter syndrome. That's how you tell yourself that you are good enough. And that's how you tell the public that you're good enough because you have evidence. Like this evidence, the pile of evidence is what gonna earn you the right to say something, right to make a comment, earn the right for you to have the clients, and the clients want you to have evidence. Like they physically want you to have evidence. They say, please show me some work you have done before. Please show me some designs you've done before. Please show me you can do back pieces. Please show me. Do you have any work of yours? What's your Instagram? That like when they say what's your socials, what they actually mean is, can I stalk on you? Can I check up on you? Can I really see what you can do? Which means what you need to do is to do. Like do draw, do sketch, do plan, do learn the backgrounds, do learn the dragons, do plan the back pieces, the arm pieces, side pieces. Like you physically need to do the doing, not talking about it, not planning about it, not swiping through Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest. You physically need to get lines down on a fake skin and blast it. Like that skin there, I have this very moment 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4, 5 stencils. I can start them anytime. Like I need to do the doing stuff. And if people will open a tattoo school, what they want to know is can I actually do the doing. That's what they need, and that's what you need. You need to show the world that you can do. And for you to show, you actually need to do the sketching, the lining, the shading, the practice, the line works, the colors, the blending from black to white, from black to yellow, from black to green, from black to blue, from blue to yellow, from blue to red, from blue to green, from blue to purple. You can understand which colors blend, which ones don't, which ones blend better, which one should you use more often, which one you shouldn't. Like you need to have this knowledge. When you have the knowledge, you physically don't feel like imposter. You just know it. You know it. You've been there. You've seen it. You've done it. You touched it. And you only feel imposter when you actually lie. Yeah, when you physically lie about what you can't do. So to finish this, do actually the doing, do the work, and let's get everybody on 600 per day. Because that is a pretty good place to be. It's a really nice place to be. And the clients who can afford 600 per day, they're really nice people. They're really nice people. They have good jobs. They have good kind of lives. They own houses. They have high professions. They can't be lost in life and accidentally run into good jobs. They're good people. They're really nice people. And I wish everybody had those clients. They physically make sweets for me when I go to work. Like every time Rachel comes, she bakes some cakes, she bakes some banana breads, and I don't eat gluten. And she makes gluten free purposely for me. And I'm Latvian by nationality. She gets some like weird recipes that almost taste like our food, but it doesn't. But that's what you get when you get these level of clients. They're really, really nice people. And I want to get you all on that level. I want you all to be on that level where you make so much money, you have nice people, you have nice days, and you're so busy that you don't know where to put your head in because you're fucking tired. That's a really nice place to be. I'll see you in the next video.